Hey man, how are you?
Good, dude. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Don't know if you just heard, but I literally just scraped it in today. I didn't think I was going to make it because I had to do
Oh,
a 4 hour round trip for work last minute.
oh, wow, hectic.
I know.
Yeah, I nearly missed the interviews as well. I went on a bit of a quest to try and find coffee this morning before the interviews, and sometimes when you're in a different country, like your GPS on your map just goes crazy, and it just took me in completely the wrong direction. And it's kind of like one of those areas where there's multiple layers of highways. There's like winding roads going over. It's just yeah, it was a anyway. I finally got my McDonald's coffee, so it's
Yeah.
fine.
Hey, that's the $1 million question, bro. Where are you?
I'm in Southampton at the moment. So we just finished up the majority of like our European leg of shows, and then that finished in Paris 2 days ago. And then yesterday we did the border crossing and took the ferry over here. We had the day off yesterday in Southampton, and then now we're about to start the UK leg of the shows over here. So yeah.
And you can still get a McCafe coffee somewhere over there in the world.
Oh yeah, it's just I was actually a little bit cranky this morning because I'm a bit of a fusspot when it comes to my coffee, and they didn't have like any alternative milks. They didn't have oat milk or almond milk, and I do love an oat milk like flat white or latte or whatever. Which you know, getting that in trying to order an Australian coffee in America is way harder than over here, to be fair. But I mean, a lot of the time, I just settled for a black coffee at the McCafe, and it's doing fine. They also didn't like offer you the opportunity to add an extra shot, which I always do. So I just ordered a separate shot of espresso and just poured it into the cup. So that's all right though. We're making do. It's ticking the box.
Wait, is the oat milk thing a choice, or is that because you're like me where you can't have dairy?
Uh yeah, I'm not. I don't believe that I'm like lactose intolerant or anything like that. I do get a bit of congestion when I have um, dairy, which I just tend to um, ignore and be irresponsible anyway. But yeah, no, I've actually just kind of gone off milk. Yeah, it's not a dietary kind of preference or anything like that. Yeah, it just doesn't taste good in coffee anymore. I went from like hating alternative milks, and now I think that they've gotten so good at making the alternative milks now that I just think they taste way better than normal milk. Also,
I'm with you.
I've got a bit of a weird thing about milk specifically because we're the only living species on the planet Earth that drinks the milk of another animal. That to me is kind of seems weird.
It is weird. Hey, see,
Yeah,
I've got an allergy, so I got no choice. But I'm all about it.
yeah,
But man, you're hitting 18 stops across Australia, and a lot of those towns don't usually see big tours, which is damn exciting. How important is it for you and the band to, reconnect with those regional fans, hit the regional shows? Because a lot of bands seem to skip the regional stuff these days.
yeah, yeah. Particularly these days, as you say, like I think when I think look back to make them suffer's early years of like grinding, essentially grinding to try and just getting over to the East Coast, essentially from WA and doing our first batch of tours. Like every tour back then was a regional tour, essentially.
Hmm.
Like I remember, like for example, our Never Bloom tour, the headliner with Signal the Firing Squad, which was an old deathcore band back then. You could, you know, you'd still play like Brisbane and Sydney and the capital cities, but um, you'd always hit the regional markets on just about every tour because you're a smaller band. Essentially, you're playing smaller rooms and you're just getting the most bang for your buck in terms of like the amount of shows that you can play in a amount of time. These days, like the genre has grown, I think, and the meta of touring has like changed because of that to where a lot of bands just settle for um, just the headlining shows in the capital cities, and regional touring is kind of falling out of favor, particularly in a world where you can do a lot of your growth as a band like online with online marketing and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know. For me, like getting back to playing some of these shows that we haven't played in 6 or 7 years, or even longer, and in some cases probably. I don't know. It's like a little bit nostalgic, and it's kind of sentimental in a way, in bringing me back to the space, the headspace we were in when we were very young and just first started touring. It's going to be really cool.
And the regional fans, I find they go harder than anybody else. Like I love doing regional shows. They just appreciate it more, and they buy up the merch because they cost them $1 million just to get things shipped to them. So it's
Yeah.
cool, man. I think more bands should be doing it.
Yeah, I think I 100% agree that, yeah, for me, the regional shows go the hardest always. And that has been true for, as long as I can remember. All the best shows I've played have actually, well, Brisbane as a market goes really hard usually as well. But yeah, regional shows in general, I just think are always so much fun. Particularly like, when you're playing, local pubs and that sort of thing. Just the vibe in the room is really, I don't know, it's a good vibe. What can I say?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And you're driving? Are you driving this run, or are you gonna? You'd have to.
Yeah, yeah, we've kind of settled on a middle ground between the comfort of flying and driving in a van, where we've got a bus, so it's got and stuff. We've never done that in Australia. We didn't actually know that existed. And then North Lane, I think they took a bus on a regional tour that they did maybe a year or two ago. And we just saw that and we were like, I didn't realize that was an option. I did speak with Josh about it. And I said, what did you think of the bus? Is it worth doing? And he said, I don't think we would do it again, honestly. And I was like, well, you got to try everything once. So we'll give it a go. But I think for what we want to get out of regional touring, I think of like, being on the road as opposed to flying is going to be a big part of our enjoyment and our fulfillment in terms of the tour. Because I mean, having the opportunity to be able to like look out the window and see some of the beautiful things that we're going to be driving past, beautiful bush and everything, that's going to be amazing. And also I just feel like you kind of get to soak in a lot more of your surroundings when you're driving, just in terms of, I don't know, just the drive into the town. You kind of get a bit more of an idea about like what the town's about, the vibe of everything. And I'm going to be hitting up a local bakery in every town, I reckon, and trying to get a pub feed. And yeah, it's going to be really cool.
I think there's a web series in that.
Oh, of eating a local bakery and everything. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can film in each one. You can just rate them and give them a shout out. Maybe I would follow that because I
that's
love my stops in those little towns when we do our little runs.
that's genius. I might actually do that. Content.
There you go. Content. Of course, you got Justice for the Damned, epic band. Gloom in the Corner, another epic band. And a ton of killer supports like our own Dissect, Danny from the coast, Haraway, Hate Complex, Run, and Freak Show. How'd you go about curating this lineup, getting them all together? And
Um, yeah. Well, I think the so for Justice and Gloom, I think we just straight up, had a discussion amongst ourselves and came up with those names, just based on like what we wanted to bring and what we felt would be like a fitting vibe for the supports for the tour. Justice for the Jams are a band that's been kicking around for a while now, but I think they're just they're a super strong live presence, and I think they're like in the middle of releasing new music or something right now. Like they just put out a single, or they're about to put one out in a couple of days. I'm not sure, but we're a bit
Yeah.
obviously out of the loop over here. But I mean, they're a band that I love, and I just love the kind of energy they bring, and just that kind of like mosh, uh, hateful mosh is something that I think is going to translate really well to the type of venues that we're going to be playing. Well, in some ways we're maybe one of the lighter bands on the bill, which is kind of interesting for us. It's not something that comes up too often, but we've got to have your moments. So that's going to be sick. I'm really excited for Justice for the Damned, and then Gloom in the Corner. That I've wanted to. We've sent Gloom several offers, I think, in the past, but it's just like they had already agreed to another tour or whatever. It's just never kind of worked out. It's a band we've been wanting to tour with for quite a while and bring out as a support for us. And I'm stoked that it's finally happening. I think there's an added sort of like, connection there between our bands where, our early stuff, Never Bloom and Old Souls, a lot of the lyrics for those albums were very conceptual. And it's cool that Gloom have that kind of something similar happening in their music and in their lyrics, where there's this sort of narrative that runs through all the music videos and all the albums and everything like that. So I think that is kind of like connects our bands in a way. And I've never actually seen Gloom or Justice live, and I've seen videos of both the bands, and they both look incredible live, very high energy. So that's what we're all about, and make them suffer high energy. So super stoked for those bands. And in terms of the other bands that we'll put on, like what would you call it, like the local supports in each kind of community. Some of them were friends. Some of them were, chosen by us. Most, I think, a handful of them were just, people we've played with before or know in the community and just wanted to put our mates on. Like Haraway is an example of that, I think. We played Darwin with them and they were super cool. Run, we've obviously been friends with, Lachlan for a very long time. I think the Perth supports are very close friends with Jaya, our bass player, if I'm not mistaken. And I don't know. I guess it's just, we just get sent a list and we just get asked to listen to a lot of music and kind of choose. And it's honestly a really fun part of the selection process of building a tour like this is getting to listen to all these sweet Australian artists. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's going to be a huge party, man. It's going to be amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Man, it's going to be a good time. Another thing that just got announced is the Hellbound Cruise.
Yeah.
Man.
That's going to be. Yeah, I can't wait. We've never played a cruise before, so this is a first for us. I've always seen cruises happen. Seen that, I think there's an American cruise and a couple European ones probably. But it's the first. We've got our own here now in Australia and in Hellbound, and I'm looking forward to it. I love being on a boat. It's really fun. It's just going to be a big hangout between, with us and all the other bands who, it's just going to be like a big mates hangout. Like everyone's going to know each other. It's going to be awesome. I'm bringing, my girlfriend. I think everyone's bringing like a partner or a best friend or something just to hang out with and share a room with and that sort of thing. So that's going to be sweet. So I can't wait. I don't know, like, having never been on a cruise, I don't know if it like affects, like being on a boat, like affects your live show in any way. If it's like, the drum kit sliding around or anything like that. But I mean, we're going to just do what we do and play our show. And it could get crazy. We'll see.
I want to know if the whole mosh pit, it's like if the boat goes that way and everyone just goes, it's like a collective wall of death just going to the sides.
Yeah. I mean, I think a circle pit could be very interesting if the boat's swaying from side to side.
Maelstrom. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, Maelstrom would be very fitting to play. And that's definitely got to go in the set. Yeah, we're bringing it back.
Man, that's a whole like year away, and I'm very excited. I'm very
Yeah,
excited too.
honestly. Yeah, it's gonna be sweet.
And you've also been announced to be nominated. We've been nominated for APRA AMCOS Award, right?
Yeah. No,
Epitaph.
we got on the award. Yeah, yeah, yeah. For Epitaph. So it's like the most performed song,
Yeah.
name of the award. So I guess that just means we played it live the most.
Oh, you got
um,
the award.
yeah, yeah, we got it.
Oh, that's awesome. I thought it was nominated. No, you got
Yeah,
it. That's awesome.
yeah, we got it. Yeah, we won it. So that's cool. I guess, yeah, we've been touring a lot, so it makes sense that we would win an award like that. But yeah, we were stoked. It's cool to, I haven't won a trophy since I was 8 years old doing judo, kind of thing. So it's been, that one's still sitting on the mantle, and it's kind of like falling apart at this point. Like the statue part of it has like almost twisted off the wood block that it sits on. So it's cool to add another thing. We received the award while we were abroad, while we were over here. So I haven't actually got to look at it yet or anything like that, but it'd be another cool addition to the trophy wall for sure.
Yeah, that's unreal, man. Congrats. Congrats. And of course, you're touring internationally, and you've built up a big following overseas, selling out shows everywhere, living the dream. Has there been a moment where it's all sort of sunk in while you're playing, and you've gone, I've done it. It's paid off all that hard work.
Yeah, in a way, on this tour, actually, it sunk in a little bit. Where we're starting to get an idea of like what the rest of the tour is going to look like in terms of ticket sales, and I think I don't know. I have no expectations of the Australian tour at this point. All I know is that I'm just planning to have fun. Actually, is and sightsee a bit and check out these regional communities. And build a connection there. That's really like my only expectation. I don't care if the shows sell out or whatever happens. We're going to have fun there regardless. But internationally, building in these markets over here has been just such a slog. And I remember when we first started doing headliners in Australia, and then coming over here as like a one of seven, our first time in Europe, and going, oh my god, where we thought we were big because we were, decent size in Australia, and we have so much building to do over here, and it's just going to take so many reps and so many tours over here. And I think with these tours, majority of the show, the majority of the shows over here and in the States are selling out, and they're for the most part like pretty decent sized venues. It's not like we're playing floor shows and that sort of thing anymore, and it's like, oh wow, are we a real band now? Are we like a legitimate, full-time touring thing? I don't know. It's because we've had more crew on this tour, we've had a little bit of the burden of like organizing everything and setting up all our gear and everything has been alleviated. So we've had more time to kind of, stop and think and reflect on how far we've come, and like how much building it's taken to get to this point in these markets. And it's been a really special time. And I think that this tour has been a really important tour in terms of us all connecting as people, and coming together as a band and kind of like celebrating the success that these headliner tours have had. Yeah.
That's unreal, man. That's unreal. And is new music on the way? Have you got plans? What's next?
Yeah, always. Yeah, I don't think we're not going to be taking any breaks anytime soon. After this, we have 2 weeks before the regional tour. Then we're going to finish the regional tour, which I believe is going to be in like early July or something like that. I honestly just don't look at my calendar until I'm done with all the tours. Anyway, from there, I think we've got until something like November off. So, I mean, the goal is just to get as much writing done and prepare for like a new release. I don't know if it's going to be like a new album or an EP or what we're going to be doing, but I mean, certainly new songs will be imminent. And I think that doesn't mean it's going to be like tomorrow. I think a lot of people really underestimate like how long it really takes to actually put out a release. You know, you need to give your masters like 6 months in advance just for like printing and marketing and that sort of thing. So early days, but I mean, we're not slowing down by any means. It's just all systems go at the moment for MTS, and we're just going to keep writing and keep touring and just like pushing as hard as we can, really.
Unreal, man. Unreal. Hey, thanks for hanging out, Sean. It's been really cool chatting to you.
No worries. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
No worries. Make sure you get all those band photos with like the big banana, the big prawn, the pineapple.
Yeah, for sure. And the baker, I'll try all the bakeries.
Yes. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. We're going to have all the links down here, all tour dates. Brother, take care. Stay safe over there. Say hello to everybody, and we'll see you very soon.
No worries. Thanks, man.